guys, welcome back to Project Element. I know it's been a while since we've had a video, and as you may notice in the video, we are no longer in the carport. Since the last video, my family and I have moved from Owings Mills, Maryland. We now live in a little town called Needmore, Pennsylvania. We're about 2 hours away, not quite, but an hour and a half, 2 hours away from where we used to live. And I haven't filmed, even though I've done a lot of work on my cars, especially with my elements in the last couple months, because I no longer have my oldest son living with me. He moved out on his own, so he was my primary filmer. He did all the editing, but my daughter, Jaden, is now helping out with the videos, and you should check out her YouTube channel, Jaden Murray. Maybe we'll put a link in the bottom, and you can check her out. She does music and art and all kinds of things. But she's going to be helping out with the video, and actually we're working on her car today. It's not an Element. It's a 2013 Scion XB. We're going to be doing a simple oil change, but I want to show you what we have. We have a new filter. This one is a Napa 27145. And then with that, one thing I suggest, I've told you this with our Elements, and I think you should do it with every car, is it's also a replacement drain plug gasket. I mean, for $1, you might as well spend it in case yours is bad. Now, for her car, what we have it up on ramps today. I have a light. It's a 14 millimeter socket to take out the drain plug. I have my oil filter wrench. I don't know where I got this. I got this years ago. It's actually expandable so that you can open up different sizes. I just have that. I have a drain pan, funnel, some rags, and then I have some more oil. We have two. I'm going to finish using off one. But this car, it says either 5W20 or OW20, 0W20. Now, also one other thing we are going to add today to Jaden's car. She's got a slight little oil leak, and we are going to add something called AT205 Reseal. Now, if you want to look this product up, it's by a company, ATP. It's ATP AT205 Reseal. I've got to tell you, I really like this product. I found out about it years ago. I had bought a Cadillac with a North Star engine that had a rear main seal leak. I bought the car for $2,500. I wasn't going to spend a lot of money to get it fixed. And I used this product, and I got to tell you, it sealed it completely. It's for rubber seals. I am not telling you to use it in your car. I'm telling you, you should check it out if you have any type of leak and you have rubber seals. It is not recommended for a brake system, but just about any other system in your car it's good for. So let's go ahead and get started. As you see, we've raised the car up on the jack stands. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to actually come up here to the top, and we're going to remove the drain filler cap, or the drain filler cap. How can you have a drain filler cap? The oil filler cap on this car, it's right here. So we're just going to remove that, so when we remove the oil drain plug, it's actually going to drain. So we've got that. I just set it up there for now. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go under the car to where the oil drain plug is at. And then the filter, I can't see it right now, but it should be right there. Can you see that, Jaden, right there? There is the filter. So we'll be getting that out here in just a second. We're going to take out the drain plug first. Like I said, it's a 14 millimeter. I always have to stop and think for a second. Righty-tighty. Lefty-loosey. I'm going the wrong way, as always. But that's kind of my thing. All right, we've got it loose. Now, let me suggest, her car's a little warm. She just ran down to our little town here to get her filter and gasket. I would suggest if you have some gloves, where I don't have any rubber gloves. I have my other gloves, but I really don't want to get oil all over them. So, and this may be a little hotter than I should be doing this, because that's kind of hot. All right, now we're going to let that drain, and we probably need to let this cool off a little bit more before I get the filter, because that is pretty hot. That's almost hot enough to burn me. So we'll be back with you in just a couple minutes. Hey guys, just wanted to show you we are not going to replace Jaden's drain plug gasket today, and this is the reason why. She just recently had her oil changed at the Toyota dealership. What happened is this car has a little bit of problem with oil consumption, so she had the oil consumption test done at Toyota. She's having a little bit of problem, but it's not bad enough for them to do the repair. But this gasket is perfectly fine. As you can see, there's no scarring. It's not dented. It's the actual right one, came from Toyota. This is the one we picked up today from Napa. So we're going to save this for the next time. I'm actually going to reuse this one. A lot of times I will not, especially like on my Hondas. I never reuse them. I picked up a bunch of them for like 10 cents a piece from the Honda dealership. We're going to reuse that. The oil's still draining. And then here in a minute, when it's cooled off a little bit, we're going to go ahead and pull the filter. And then we're going to replace it with this filter. And let me give you a hint. I just saw a video about this the other day. When you get these filters, most of the time they're going to have some type of plastic or something on them. Make sure you remove that plastic. I actually saw a video where a guy took his Lotus in and he had changed his own oil and he had not taken that off, and he literally ruined his own engine because he had not taken it off, so the oil couldn't flow. So there it is. Before we put this on, we're actually going to put a little oil in this, and we're going to use some new oil to lubricate the seal. But we'll be back with you in a couple minutes when this thing cools off. All right, guys. Well, we haven't pulled the filter yet, but we're going to reinstall the drain plug. As you can see, it's just down to a little tiny drip. What I like to do is just kind of wipe it all off. Make sure everything's kind of clean. Reinsert the bolt. Now, let me give you a very important piece of information for these. You do not have to Hercules these when you put them back together. Let me move that out of the way. I know how things go for me. I'll end up just snug it up. You don't need to, like I said, you don't need to try to Hercules them in as tight as you can, because you can actually strip it out, and then that's no good. Now we're going to go ahead and get the filter out. As I said, the filter is here, literally straight in front of the plug. Normally these should only be hand tight, but I guess whoever the Toyota guy was, he must have been stronger than me. So I'm going to use my handy dandy wrench here. It adjusts the size. Pretty much just push it on there and then give it a little turn. Hold on. Going the wrong way again. Where was I? You can cut these parts out. My dyslexia gets me on the right, left. So I want to turn it that way.
Those way.
You didn't grab that way, so that can't be right. How tight did they put that stupid thing on?
Did it get it?
I think so. Yep. All right, guys. I'm not afraid to show my subjects. You don't have to cut that out, JD. I do have a little dyslexia when it comes to rights and lefts. I've struggled with it my whole life. Numbers I'm normally fine with. As you see, as soon as you start to take it out, it starts to drip. Now, I will say one thing, nicer thing about this than our Elements is there's no frame members underneath for it to run all over, which is nice. Unless you buy the special thing from Honda, when you take your filter out of your 2.4, your K2.4 in a Honda Element, it runs all over the place. All right, guys, one thing that's really mandatory that I'm not sure you can see from that angle, but up here, you need to make sure that the old gasket came off with the old filter. And then one thing I like to do is I actually like to reach up there and wipe off all the crud and everything else that's around there. Make sure you got a nice clean surface for the new filter to go to. There you go. Let's see, there you go. As you see, it's nice and clean now. I've wiped everything off. It's going to be good to go. I'm going to get the new filter in here in a second, and then we'll show you that. All right, guys, here's what we're going to do to prep the new filter. As you see, here's the new filter. And yes, I am using Walmart oil. I've told you about it before. I think it's perfectly fine. In fact, it's got one of the highest ratings you can get for oil. I'll just put some in there to kind of pre-start it so your engine doesn't have to start with the filter dry. Half, 3/4 of the way filled. Now take some of that fresh oil and lubricate that gasket, because you want that gasket to get a nice seal up there. Now I will tell you one thing I do for all my cars. Any car that I have just about has over, actually most of ours have over 100,000 miles, but if they have over 70,000 miles, 75,000 miles, I love to use the oil. Now this one doesn't have it, but I love to use the oil that has the additives in it for high mileage vehicles. It actually has some additives in it to help keep the seals soft and lubricated. And all we're gonna do is take this back under the car. We don't want to tilt it sideways because we have oil in it. Get it lined back up. Now, if you're doing this right, it should only be hand tight. You don't need to Hercules it. Just use your bare hand and tighten it up. And that should be it. Like I said, I always like to make sure I've wiped everything up. Make sure there's nothing, no oil left over. Any of the oil sheen left over here, that's just rust protection. Won't hurt anything. Don't need to get brake cleaner, make it, that thing is tight. So now all we got to do is go back up top and put the fresh oil in. This vehicle takes about 4.5 quarts. In this jug, we got approximately 3 quarts left. So we're going to go ahead and pour that in. That nice golden honey color of fresh oil. I always like to keep our old jugs for getting rid of our old oil. Now, before I pour the rest in from the other one, I'm going to go ahead and put in the ATP AT205. If I can get it open, give me a second here. Now, I will tell you on this size bottle here, which is, I believe, 8 ounces, 236 milliliters, I think it says. My old eyes can't see that. It says it only needs about 2/3 of a bottle for this vehicle. Make sure we got all the additives going. Now, when you pour this, it actually kind of looks almost like water. It doesn't look very thick. We're going to put about 2/3 of the bottle in. There we go. Then with that, because that's about 8 ounces, we put in about 6 ounces. We only need another quart of oil. We're going to put a quart in. We're going to check the level. We're going to wait a little bit, which we won't film all that. We'll wait a little bit and make sure that we don't need to add more.
That oil looks a lot lighter in color than the Walmart.
Nah, it's the same. Well, one's full synthetic, one's synthetic blend, but really, it's okay to mix the oils. It's not going to affect anything. All right. Well, guys, that should be pretty much it. We're going to clean up here. Like I said, we're going to wait a little bit to let the oil run down, make sure we have it completely filled. I'm not going to pull that off right now because I don't want it to drip. I would suggest every time, wipe this off. Where it goes back in the motor, wipe it off. Make sure you don't have any dust or anything. You don't really want anything getting back in your engine. Here in a little bit, we're going to pull the dipstick. We're going to check and see what the level is. And then we're going to, if we need to, we'll add some more to get it right back up to the full mark. And as you see on this vehicle, things, here, let's see if we can get the light there. As you see, it's already showing that it's between the 2 dots. That's where it needs to be. I like to make sure when we do a fresh oil change, it's right at the upper dot, which is as full as it should be. You should not overfill them. I will be honest with you though, from my experience, if you slightly overfill it, it's not a major concern. Don't majorly overfill it. But we'll just give this a little bit here, make sure it runs down. If it looks good, we'll leave it right there where it's at. If not, we'll add a little bit more. But thanks for watching, guys, man. We really appreciate you. I know it's been a while, but hopefully it's good to be back, and we'll get some more videos coming. And now that my schedule's changed, we have a garage to work in, we'll be able to do stuff more often. So thanks again, guys.